What's up, guys? We are back. This is The Real Deal with Casey and Jason, where we talk real life, real experiences, occasionally real estate. We do like to throw that in there since we're both in real estate. And today we got another special guest with us. So last week we went back to our roots, the old Casey and Jason show.
Oh, that's right. Was it last week? No, we had Tyler last week. Come on, bro.
No, that was the week before.
No.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh, man. I'm messing up. Dude, it's starting to blur together.
It is.
So, guys, we've been a little bit off schedule. You would never know it because Nick, thank God, Nick gets everything edited and posted on Fridays. But
thank you, Nick.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nick. We used to record every Friday afternoon, and then, we're getting into the busy season. We got some stuff going on, popping up, and we've been recording, like, some odd times. So this...
Cutting it close.
So, Nick, this week's got his work cut out for him because it's Tuesday afternoon. This is going to drop on Friday. I think you're leaving town. You have a vacation. Nick, is he leaving town? He has something going on.
I have no... yeah, he has a class.
Okay.
Over the weekend.
Got it. So, Nick, we appreciate you in advance for getting this done in, like, no time. But we'll make it a nice, clean episode all the way through.
We'll see about that.
But just don't drop any... That's what she said.
No funny business.
Yeah. But we have Duane here, who I met through Master Networks. A networking group. We've had a couple of my friends there from Master Networks on. Duane Freeman. And we met, I don't know, a couple months ago.
Yeah, it's been about a couple months now.
And realized, too, as soon as I started talking to you that we had a lot of mutual friends. You got a Maryland connection, which I was like, I meet you in Middletown. But then this dude pulls up in a pickup truck with like 33s on it and lifted. I'm like, you from Cecil County, bro? And sure enough, you lived in Cecil County.
Yeah, up just for time here, but yeah, definitely wore on me, I guess.
Yeah.
Nice.
So as far as your business, let's jump right into to what you do and like who you help, that kind of thing, and then we'll kind of get your story of how your background led to what you're doing now.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a company called Family Group Consultants. So we're a marketing firm. It really started out with the insurance industry at first. That was like the first, because we were insurance agents on the life side. So it really came from me and my wife, buying leads like from different, vendors and, like the kind of like the entrepreneur journey. Like they kind of just threw us to the wolves. When we got licensed, and they said, "Oh yeah, you just buy leads and you call people, and it's like very easy." So I was like, "Okay, that
sounds easy enough.
Sounds simple." So I thought like everybody would like want to buy life insurance.
Everybody flocked to you.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So
same with mortgages, by the way. You just buy
Yeah.
leads and call them, and then like you just
Millionaire.
yeah, it just happens overnight.
yeah, even like family and friends, like it's like totally different. When you're in the like business for yourself, but yeah, like so for us, we're like after doing it for so long, and we also had like a Amazon FBA business, so we did some marketing for that. So I was like, well, if I can figure that out, maybe I can try to do like my own marketing and cut the cost. So we started doing it, and became really profitable that way. So we started helping other insurance agents doing it like with their own marketing with like Facebook ads and mostly Facebook. That's like where most of the traffic comes from. And some with LinkedIn and TikTok and all other fun stuff. But and it actually started getting real fun for me to do it. So we started, my partner and I, he did a lot more on the sales training side, because we started getting leads for people. And the big thing was a lot of people were like, oh, people say this, what do I say here? So it started being more customer service on that side. So we're like, well, why don't we, incorporate the sales side too of it and, help them with that. So so we put a whole program in place for that. And, then we started branching out to other businesses from there.
Yep. Are you still, or who were you employed by for the life insurance, and are you still doing that?
So I'm still doing it. So I'm an independent broker. So,
okay.
So just a bunch of different carriers. Mostly like for me, like my main market was like the senior market.
Yeah.
Because they're home all day. They have nobody to talk to. So when you call them, they're like, you can just keep talk about their cats and dogs, and they're happy. So
you can do that. You can call me and talk about my dog too.
Yeah.
Happy. Yeah. So I got talk about my dogs, talk about their dogs, and everybody's happy.
Yeah.
And then and that's kind of like the market I stuck to, with mostly the senior market.
Yeah. So I think it's just interesting that there's so many people out there selling leads for everything that we do. Like, I know Zillow is big, right? A lot of realtors will buy Zillow leads. They ask lenders to split the Zillow leads with them. I've done that for years, just with different, people that wanted to start up. And it's, you're right though. Like the lead itself is not really, I don't think, what people need in the most cases, because they don't know what to do with the lead or how to address the person, how to get a hold of them, how to talk to them. So I think it's, you guys identified something pretty important of like adding the sales training aspect into it. Because like I think you said in one of our meetings, you're like, people think they want to buy leads, but they really don't. They want to buy the knowledge of how to talk to them and how to sell the leads.
Yeah. Like it was funny. I saw like one guy the other day on Facebook. He posted like he was like I bought some leads from, I forgot what company, but he was like, I bought some leads and everybody just wanted a quote. I was like, wasn't that what you want? But he's more upset that he couldn't close them. But like he's getting the quotes, but he's going to blame the lead company.
Right. These leads are trash because
So the sales side of your company has a format that helps those companies nurture and eventually close those leads.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So it's like we have like a step-by-step process. We show them how to write their own scripts. Based on like how they're going to, based on if they're running ads, like based on their ad copies, or they're doing like events or anything like that. We'll help them like with approaches for that.
Cool. All sorts of different scenarios.
Yeah. It's mostly just asking how to ask the right questions and when to ask the right questions.
Yeah, I feel like that's all sales is. At the end of the day, it's like just
learn how to connect.
Yeah, and connecting is like, well, people say like, well, you just have to be genuine with them. Well, how do you? I don't know how someone could be like not genuine, or like how do you show that you care about someone? Well, you just have to. If you actually care about them, it will show very clearly that you do. It's when you. I think when you're in a sales situation, you start to. I don't know. People's mind just gets completely like. Almost like they lose half of their brain, and it's like they're just focused on the sale and moving the person to the sale rather than to just be a person and talk and have conversations. But I find that easier with my sphere of people that I already know, my family and friends, because you already have that relationship. And I remember when I first got into mortgages, and they like my first day on the job was a stack of paper like this, and they were like, "Here you go, like here's." I'm like, "What is this?" They're like, "They're leads." I'm like, "Well, what do I do with them?" You call them. And I'm like, well, what if they answer?
And then what?
And they said, well, then you sell them a mortgage. And I'm like, literally having these conversations. And that was, part of the training. It was like just repetition, get on the phone, get past the person telling you that they don't have time to talk, get past the I'm not interested, right? And just move into a conversation. So it was all part of it, and I learned a lot doing it. But, you become like almost a different person when you're just calling leads all of a sudden. It's like, dude, if you just let your personality come out and actually care. If the dude's dog barks, ask him about his dog. What kind of dog is it? How old is it? Just care about the person, and you'll be successful with that.
Yeah. That's one thing I learned. It's like when I first started out, people were like, well, how are you so good? I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't know what I was doing. I just was being good at I didn't know what I was doing. I was just talking to people.
But the more and more you did it, like Casey said, repetition.
Yeah.
And that kind of like that dials things in, that hones things in. You're able to find out what works, what doesn't work.
Exactly.
And, I'm sure your sales process has evolved over time.
Absolutely.
Like this is where we started, and then like, based on feedback, and this is not necessary, or we can expand on this, or whatever the case may be. And that's just done through volume.
Absolutely. Yeah. Still learn, so see where things went wrong, and figure out okay, well, could I ask this question better next time, or
right,
to get this response, so it's always just trying to get better and better at it.
Definitely.
And your business, so you're partnered with someone who also does. He was more into the sales training, like you said. So that's your partner, but then you also your wife works with you as well, right?
Yes. Yep. She works with us as well. So she was a big support. So it was. Definitely, I hear a lot of people having a spouse and things can be a little bit more difficult because they may not be on the same page. But I would say it's probably made it a lot easier. Not to have that. That I would say seems like it can be stressful.
Yeah.
If your spouse isn't in agreement with the risk it takes to be a business be an entrepreneur or start running your own business.
Yeah.
So it does help.
Absolutely. And take us back a little bit. So your story and journey of how you ended up doing what you're doing now. Like you went to school for something completely different. You had a whole different career path, right? So take us through that a little bit, and then kind of maybe what flipped the switch for you to become a business owner, because like you said, it is completely different.
Yeah. So I went to Hudson, and I went there for HVAC. So did that up until, but I always wanted to be a police officer. That was like my ultimate goal because I'm from Philadelphia, and I have a lot of family who are Philly cops. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll do that. Looks like it's, fun to do. Chase bad guys, looks fun. So so after going doing HVAC for some time, I applied for different places. Maryland State Police got back to me first. So and I called my uncle. I was in the process with Philly PD. He was like, just go with Maryland. He's like, don't come here. So I was like, okay, all right. Got it. So I was like, got it. So I ended up, staying there. I was there for, from 2009 up until 2010 up until 2014, and then went to the Delaware State Police. And once from there, I left there in 2019. But the experiences I say, were good. But just like working for people, and they have like their just like any other job. They had their favorites, and it's just just like any other place you work for, and if they don't like you for whatever reason, you can get treated differently than somebody else can do everything wrong and get and get congratulated for it. So for me,
did the kind of, I've had some friends that are police officers that are no longer in the force as well. Did like anything, I don't want to say politically driven, but did kind of like how the shift on how police officers were viewed have anything to do with the fact that you're no longer a police officer? Like how
from the
general public.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it wasn't really more so the general public. I mean, that was a bad thing too. It was more so like, I had a few people that, I'm still friends with today from the state police, but it was mostly the people on the job, that made it more stressful than honestly working with the people out in the street.
Gotcha. Because I can't imagine how difficult that's got to be. I mean, that's a tough industry to try to do your job the right way and feel like you're always being scrutinized.
Yeah. This is mostly the media, but I mean, most people I came across, they were good people, even though they you give them whatever come across in that day. Typically
right.
They were pretty cool and good to go. It was like that 1% of people that were like just mad or angry at the world and you can't make them happy. So
yeah, we're there for everybody.
Yeah, so it's kind of like even like probably like in business, like it's like that one person you can't make, that one customer you can't make happy. So same thing, but
I got you.
I feel like that's with everything. I mean, number one, the media makes everything seem way worse than it is.
Yeah,
and two, the other thing is like just in the general dealings of life, and you run into people and you talk to them. For the most part, everyone is really cool and friendly.
Yeah, it's the people. The loudest are usually the most upset. The people with an axe to grind are the ones that are the loudest and make all that stuff seem really rough.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the other thing now is, I mean, you get to work every day with your wife, with your business partner. You have your own business. You're able to help people create a better life for themselves, and you're not risking your life every day when you go to work. So I'm sure that's a nice, nice benefit as well.
Yeah, there are a lot of perks to it. That's definitely one of them.
You went right from the police force to life insurance.
Yeah, so while I was still there, that's why we started like the Amazon business while I was still there.
I'm interested to learn more about that. What was that like?
It was
you said FB.
Yeah, fulfillment by Amazon.
Fulfillment by Amazon.
Yeah.
Okay.
So pretty much, you buy the product from the supplier in China, and you have it shipped to Amazon's warehouse, and and pretty much they pretty much handle a lot of the work from there. The biggest part is the product research. That was like the hardest part, like figuring out like what's not too competitive but it's going to be profitable at the same time.
Gotcha.
That was like the most grueling part of it.
Yeah.
Okay. What products were you selling?
Yeah.
If you could.
So, a 150-foot garden hose. So,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of people are selling like the 25-foot, 50-foot, 75-foot garden hose, but the 150-foot, it was only two other sellers on Amazon doing it. So
wow.
That's why we chose that market, and I was like, well, we have a nice size land, so we're like, that would be nice to have 100-foot, 50-foot
area. Around here.
So it worked out. We actually liked it. So we're like, I think that'd be a good one, and it actually was still selling really good.
Wow.
So you guys purchased that from overseas. It gets sent to a Amazon warehouse.
Right. Yeah. So
and then you are in charge of marketing the product.
Yeah. So pretty much like pay per click through Amazon. So pretty much it has the Amazon Prime on there. So pretty much Amazon does a lot of the big lifting for it. So you just gotta pay for the keywords that you're clicking on. That's why it's kind of important to do the make sure you have a profitable product. So,
Right.
you're, offsets the cost.
Interesting.
That is interesting. And Amazon, like, I'm just trying to think from their point of view why, like, they're passing off some of the risk to you because you're actually putting the money up for the product. So they're like, hey, we'll stock it for you, we'll ship it for you, but you got, essentially you're buying it, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of spreads the liability out for them. But then you're probably also paying Amazon for the space, right?
Yeah, so you pay 15%, of the sale, but also like, your storage depends on what's how big your products are.
Yeah.
So with ours, it's a 150-foot garden hose is like the flexible one, so it takes up less storage. So that's another reason why we chose that one.
Gotcha.
Man, and yeah, just think about that from Amazon's point of view. They're like, hey, we get to sell this product and make a profit on it of X amount, whatever it is, but we don't have to buy it and put the money up front.
We've got the warehouse space as it is.
That's crazy, huh? Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing, honestly.
Yeah. And also you pay them for the advertising too. So you
Yep.
pay for the pay-per-click, you're paying them for that too.
How about that? Amazon is definitely, they do things differently, don't they?
Yeah.
And they've been, obviously ridiculously successful with that.
Oh,
But
absolutely. Yeah, they're very successful.
yeah. So you still have the Amazon business?
Yes.
You did? Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
And then you got into the insurance, which led to the family group consultants. Do you work with anybody else in that business other than insurance? I know that's kind of like the niche that you have, but do you work with other people as well?
Yeah, so we work with like two of our clients have dental offices. We work with car dealerships, realtors, real estate investors. So we, have a broad kind of spectrum of clients. It's really just helping them figure out what their goal is and figure out how they want to acquire their goal and help, because most people I want to do this, but they don't really think they're like, I don't really want to think about how to be creative with things. So that's really all it is being different than your competitors. Figure out what they're doing and be different from those people.
Yeah. And how important would you say is like a social media presence for that person or that brand versus like what you do is you focus on essentially the paid ads, right? To generate.
Yeah,
leads.
a combination of both. It really depends on some people do organic. It's really what their budgets are and if they're more comfortable. Some people some people are really good at getting their content out there, making the videos, and that's what they like to do. So we just help them because sometimes people put a lot of videos out, but people aren't responding to the videos the way they want, and we're like, well, it's usually the messaging that's where you're going wrong. So we help them with the messaging, so to get them traffic if they want to do organically.
Got it. But it's not necessary, would you say, for someone say a real estate agent, for example, or a mortgage person. It wouldn't be necessary for them to already have this big personal brand with a big following to be successful with possibly running the paid ads.
Oh, no, not at all.
Yeah, because I think that's another, I don't know a whole lot about this stuff. I get a glimpse into the social media stuff from everything my brother's doing mainly.
Yeah.
And we actually just partnered with a content company. So through our company, the Waymore Group, the mergers and acquisitions company, we just acquired half of a social media content company. They really gear heavily towards creating a digital offer, monetizing the offer, things like that, and really kind of building your personal brand through the video. But I still don't have a whole lot of insight into the paid ads and stuff like that. I feel like it's just to me it seems like a whole nother thing, like a separate thing. But clearly everybody does it. Every company in the world that if you ever mention their name or even think about them, you're getting paid ads on your Facebook feed. So it's a thing out there.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to me. You were in the room the other day too. We started talking about the mosquito company that we started. Right. So one of the guys in there, he asked us about it. We had a conversation and he's like, dude, as soon as I left the meeting, I started getting ads all over my Facebook timeline of every pest company in the...
Yeah.
So talk to us about that or what, your knowledge of that. How do they target that?
Yeah. Well, there's with Facebook, they have what's called pixels, and you can track people's activity. So Facebook or whatever, they're gathering everybody's information. So when people think they're liking something because they're friends and family, because they care about their friends and family, they're taking all the information and gathering it so they can use it for advertising. That's pretty much what it's built for.
Yeah.
So I know, like I know that they're not supposed to track your microphone, but it feels like sometimes you say certain things or think certain things, and
100%.
things pop up. So
Yeah.
like that is like just their whole algorithm system is like just made for advertising. Made to figure out what you want to do and why you want to do it before you even can probably think of it sometimes.
And then put it in front of you.
Yep.
Yeah. So from an advertising, like if you were going to run a paid ad, so for example, like we'll use the mosquito company. If we were going to run paid ads for that, we would want to target the pixel of like keywords, right, that somebody might have clicked on or searched for.
Yeah, so Facebook has like certain interests, like keywords are like more for like Google or Bing. The Facebook has like their pixels based on their interests. So you can go in there and like if somebody like travels a lot, like you can you can pick that as an interest, like frequent international traveler. So obviously people who travel internationally probably have money to travel internationally. So some people choose that as a filter. They try to filter out by income.
Wow.
So then they have like their income class based on zip codes. So you can really get like real like pinpoint and like narrow it down like it's your audience as like much as you want to try to narrow it down. It's not going to be perfect all the time, but it gets the job done.
Yeah.
And so from there, where are those clicks going? Where the people that you're running ads for? Where is anybody who clicks on something like that? That's getting fed to their landing page database.
Yeah. So it goes to like their landing page. That's what we recommend people have is landing pages, or you can use like the Facebook Messenger. So there's different ways, or you can have a click to call. So there's different objectives, and Facebook can let you the pixel tracking. You can choose like like certain people are more likely to schedule an appointment. So if you use a schedule appointment one, they'll look for people that are more likely to schedule appointments.
Right.
So it's all it's all calculated.
Wow. When I first realized the power of this, and actually I didn't even at the time, but I think I read, I don't know, somebody posted about the 10x, and I'm like, what is 10x? So I think I Googled it, like what is 10x? And then this dude Grant Cardone pops up on my Facebook, Instagram, like web pages. Everywhere I turn, like this dude's popping up, and I'm like, this guy's everywhere. He just blew up all of a sudden. Dude, they got me. They got me. Like as soon as it literally tracked one keyword that I put in, and it was over, dude. And that's all I see. And even to this day, like he just hammers, and he just makes sure that, he calls it omnipresence, being everywhere all at the same time.
Yeah.
But that's the first time I realized the power of like what you do in the Facebook ads. Like I think he's everywhere because I typed in something or clicked on something that he made it put him in front of me.
Following you around.
Yeah. Whereas like to somebody else, so to anybody out there, if you're looking at your social media and you're like, oh my God, all I see is this.
That's because what you're interested in.
Yes. That is your pixel. You are being targeted, my friend. So, if you don't like what you're seeing,
look at other stuff.
Yeah, stop clicking on it. Or if you have to hide what is popping up on there, use caution. But, that's crazy that, man, the level of detail. And like you said, Facebook, I also didn't realize this. So when I was in college at Youngstown, I'm like, oh, Facebook, that's like a social media. That's where I could keep up with my friends. Facebook was 100% built for advertising.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I didn't realize that until more recently. Like it's not I guess, technically it's social media, but it's really built for selling things, generate income through advertising.
Yeah, that's what it's mainly used for. That's where all the data's for. Just get all that information so they can track you.
Yeah,
and sell it to people that need to make money.
Definitely.
Crazy. Have you seen the documentary, The Social Dilemma?
Yes. Yeah, it was pretty scary.
Scary, right? It was pretty spot on though, from what you know about how things work.
Yeah, very spot on. It was
interesting. Have you seen that one, Jace?
I have not.
So basically, it's kind of like a peek into the Matrix, essentially. Like
I read the first few pages of Chaos Machine, and I was like, I don't think I can read that.
I haven't dipped my toe in,
but I'm sure it's the same thing. Along the same lines.
They basically build a digital profile of every person with more data than, like you said, that you could even comprehend and put together in your own head.
Yeah.
They have a profile built that literally just it's predictive. It's like you said, it's not just a keyword like, hey, I looked up mosquito company spraying. It's like no, this person has interest in something. They build a whole profile around you.
Yeah, like how long you're looking at something, where you're looking at it. It's like,
and like what I notice is like in my feed, if I stay on a certain thing, I don't like to interact with it. But if I stay on a certain part of a page for so long, I can tell that as I scroll, similar things show up based on how long I stayed just above that.
Almost instantly.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's crazy. It's got, I mean, I don't even have words.
And it's almost to like, it probably calculates to the, millisecond how long you, again, pause if you're scrolling. Like,
yeah, definitely. And you'll see more of that without even interacting with something.
And they will get you. I don't know how, you might know how many times it takes to see something before you go buy it, but they will get you. Because, like, I just bought these dumbbells, like the adjustable dumbbells. I was looking at them for months, and I'm like, I just knew they're never going to go away. Yeah. Like, I'm done, dude. I'm going to end up ordering these things eventually. But anything like that, like, they just put it in front of you over and over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah, even like some of our clients, like when they book a call with us, sometimes they're like, "Oh yeah, I saw your ad multiple times. I finally just did it." So it definitely does the job.
Okay. Good.
What do you see as far as trends for people that are using your services? Is there like a certain industry that either you're going after to help that certain industry because you see that there's like a need for realtors, that might need a boosted social presence, ad presence, whatever you want to call it? Is there, you mentioned car dealerships. Is there like a trend of an industry that is using your services that you see?
Yeah, it's a lot of like the independent people, like more solo entrepreneurs. Like they don't have like a captive company behind them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mostly because like they kind of like how we got thrown to the wolves. Like just like, hey, just all you got. Like when somebody says, "This is all you got to do," it's probably like that's probably your first red flag. so and it kind of like if like we've seen is like kind of really like messes people up because then they like start looking for this unicorn of like of like this magical pill that's going to make this business easier, and it's. So that's really much like our biggest thing is like we like want to really help like the independent entrepreneur like try to understand like how to really communicate with people. Really, that's the biggest thing. Even like because a lot of people they get angry with their family and friends like, oh, I'm done with my family and friends like they don't want to buy from me. They like I'm like, well,
this entrepreneur thing might not work for you.
So they take it personal like, well you still gotta have something that they want to they feel like they know it all about what you have. They're not going to want to do business with you because like just because you start selling that doesn't make them want to give you their money still.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts, and there's no like you said, magic pill. It's like at the end of the day, truly is an input output kind of thing. The more contacts you make, the more conversations you have, all that stuff are going to lead to conversions at some point. If people like you, if people don't like you, and you're just like you don't get along with people, then you might not just don't do sales because it's going to be extremely difficult. Because you might talk to a lot of people and they just dislike you more. I think if you're a likable person, you're personable, and you don't mind talking to people, it's one of those things. It's simple but difficult kind of thing, where it's not it's really not that elaborate of things you need to do. It's just it can be hard to do it consistently, I think, is the main thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the consistency is key. That's like the biggest thing. Like,
just showing up and doing the same boring stuff over and over and over.
Yeah.
That all compounds over time. Mm-hmm. More people will see you, and you'll get better at what you do. And then it might take 6, 12, 18 months, but that stuff has a compounding effect.
Yeah.
And it grows.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like a lot of things on social media really impacts people too. I think they think like people become millionaires overnight, so I think like they expect like these fast results.
Well, do you get that with like people that use your services? Like if they're not like crushing it in 3 months, are they like, yo, what's up?
Yeah, we had a guy like today, like like we have like a whole training model. Like, hey, watch the training videos, and he was like done in like like before we turned the leads on, we're like, hey, like let us know when you watch it, the videos, and we'll get you going. And like an hour later, he's like I'm ready. I'm like he's not ready. So I turned him on, and 2 weeks later, he's like he's like, people are saying this, people say that. I was like, did you watch the video? And he was like, and I was like, he's like, well, I just want to know some people looking to buy. So I was like, okay. I was like, well, watch the video and let me know what you want to do, and we can cancel your services.
I was listening to Alex Hormozy on the way over here, and he was talking about like how I guess he was in some situation where he was learning from some YouTubers, and he was talking about like the amount of effort that they put into their stuff, and it just helped him realize like, man, it's not just like you have to work twice as hard to be great. Like in some cases, it's you have to work 100 times harder than the people who are doing something good, like to be super great. And he was talking about how, I guess he was in a fraternity as a freshman. I think he went to Vanderbilt, and then eventually he, everybody did their pledge and that kind of thing, and the pledge sucked. And like then as he got older, he was a junior and he was the president of his fraternity, and like every year he said, the freshmen went through the pledge, and after 2 weeks they were like, F this, like this is the worst, like this is terrible. And he said, so they wanted to meet with him, the president, to like talk about it. And so like he walked into their dorm room and there was like 20 of them sitting around, and they were like flipping out, like, oh, and he was like, okay, first of all, who expected like pledging to be easy? And, like nobody raised their hand. He's like, who expected pledging to be hard? And they all raised their hand. He's like, this is what hard feels like. Yeah. And so like he's just talking about like all those moments that like sometimes people just need to reframe. Like people who are coming to you for their services probably just expect it to be easy. Like they're going to you for help, and they just expect the rest to happen. It's like, well, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. It's going to be difficult. Like, did you expect it to be super easy, or did you expect to have to work for it? And just that reframe can help so many people. Yeah. I know I need that. Yeah. All the time.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that that we adopted with, like, we did the Cardone training. Mm-hmm. We did Cardone University, and going into that, we were like, the expectation is not, again, that it's going to be easy and that they're just going to give you anything. It's like, the expectation is that if I work just as hard to execute this as you do to teach it to me, then we're going to be successful. And yeah, I think if people adopt that mindset, and also the mindset of, if I'm going to invest in something, like I'm going to work with Duane and his team, I'm going to invest in it, and I want to be an example of how successful you can be with this program. That mindset right there, it really helped us as well, because it was like we didn't want to invest in just be another participant in the program. We wanted to be like an example of, damn, if these guys did it, then we can do it. But we wanted to be like that. It just comes from the person, honestly. Like you have to want to be that person versus the what are we getting for free? Like what's in it for me kind of guy. You're not going to make it. Like whether it's sales or anything else, you're just not going to make it if that's your mentality. Yeah. Have to put the work in. Anything else you want to end on? I wanted to ask you real quick, actually, before you, if you want to gather your thoughts for a second here. But what year did you go to Hudson?
So I went to Hudson 2005 to 2009.
So do you know? I probably know some people that you know. Matt Trait, Chris Emery.
Did they play baseball?
Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. So yeah, these really good buddies of mine that went to Hudson. I didn't even know we had that connection, but still good buddies of mine now. So.
Yeah, it's a small world.
Yeah, small state for sure. Yeah, state of Delaware.
Yes.
Anything else you want to end on? I do want you to share how people can get a hold of you.
Yeah.
If they're interested.
Well, I just want to thank you guys for having me today.
Yeah,
it's definitely a pleasure to be here. But yeah, if anybody wants to see about what we do, they can visit our website. It's www.familygconsultants.org. And they can, if they need to reach out to us, they can reach out to us right from there. All of our contact info is right on there.
It's awesome.
It is awesome. Thanks for being on, man. It was enlightening to me. Like I said, there's a whole world of stuff going on behind the scenes, guys, that if you have a business now and you're looking to get more exposure, you're looking to generate leads, reach out to Duane. He's got way more knowledge on it than me for sure, but most people out there. So he can help with getting your company out there. And not really limited, like you said, to maybe just insurance or anything else. Like you guys work with a whole wide array of people. Yeah,
we work with a whole array of businesses. It's really, as I said, just figuring out how their business can be different than the other businesses around them, and set them apart.
It's awesome. Thank you very much for being here, man. Now you know me. I'm not good with parting shots.
Guys, we appreciate everyone tuning in. Does mean a lot to us if you give us a like, share, subscribe. If you put a comment on there too so we can reply to it, we love interacting with our audience out there. So please do that. And until next time, keep it real.
See y'all.
See ya.
See ya.